I think things will work out so I don't worry about money.
Yeah, very optimistic. Money comes to me. Money comes to me.
Manifest.
I feel to be on David's show.
I feel so good.
Danielle, a child star who has topped box offices while pursuing her education. She's now raising 2 beautiful children and just finished her latest feature film.
Thank you for being brave enough to be one of my first guests on my podcast.
Oh, I didn't know it was the first.
So I wanted to do this podcast, and you can probably relate. Like having hosted so many shows, you're not really in charge of like the production and the flow of it, right? You kind of do what the producers tell you to do.
There's always a generic
like format or
format, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess after being in this industry for so many years, I started off modeling when I was like 15, very similar to you. And maybe now in my wiser later years, I've started thinking a lot more about like money and finances, and I was reflecting on when I started earning money and how what I did with it, right? And I didn't actually have the best like financial literacy or awareness when I was growing up. Like we didn't talk about finances at home, and I didn't have a good understanding. So I really wanted to
dig deep
and talk to people about it. And obviously I'm not a financial expert.
Are you trying to find people to relate so we can cry together?
I wanted to really be able to like speak to people and understand like what they went through. What was their upbringing like when it came to finances, and to really kind of understand what it's been like for them. But you know, you started very young like me, 10 years old. You were in a drama, right? Acting.
9 specifically, but
Wow.
I was in advertisements since I was 9 months old. So I've been in front of the camera forever. So it's the only thing I know. But all my money was directed straight to my family because my mom is a single mom, and like she was in real estate, and she was also like an insurance agent, and she was really working hard trying to have our family survive. It's just the 2 of us anyway, but I feel like she was trying to give me the best because I went to like an international Montessori, and then I went to international
same school.
Yeah, we're in the same school, just different batch. But
Yeah, I'm a few years older.
Yes, I was a year younger than your sister. Yeah. So her mom was my
Principal? Oh my God.
Mrs. Henry.
Yeah. We were good kids.
We were good kids, definitely. So yeah, my mom was really trying to give me, I think, more than she could actually afford for herself. And it's normal because now that I'm a mom, I put my kids in the best international school.
Yeah.
I go to that international school. I know I can't afford it, but I want to put you in there anyway because it's a whole shebang. It has a swimming pool, there's this, that, tennis court, only because I feel like your childhood is so short, and you know, from that moment after you graduate, you're all on you. It's all on you. So I just want you, like, how appreciative I was of my mom, because she gave me the best education, the best set of friends that I could have asked for, and they're still my friends till now, is from where she puts me to school, you know. So that's what I want to give to my kids, and I feel that they now also appreciate waking up and like they're so excited for school. They're so excited to be with their teachers and friends, and those are the things that you really can't buy. You have to, of course, pay, but it's the experience that you really can't, you know. I'm privileged to be able to put my kids in that position of feeling the sense of abundance that I had, but I never really had in that point. So my mom upped, like kind of put it in this one stage of like expectation, and then I kind of one up my mom, and you know, it's that kind of thing.
That's funny because growing up, my mom would always say to me, like, you should strive to always give your family, your kids, more than what we gave you.
Yeah.
So, you know, you take what we did and you do a bit better.
Correct.
And that should always be generationally something that you always work towards.
Correct.
But you grew up. So your dad's American.
My dad's
Did you
American.
live in the States at all?
No, I was never actually in the States. I'm so localized. Like I am so Malaysian in so many ways. I did go to school there for a little bit, but then I came back. I was too scared. America just felt so big.
Yeah.
And culturally, because I'm so used to the Asian culture of being more reserved and more diplomatic. And I already had a career here. So I was like, why am I striving to kind of a bigger country with no certainty when I already have what I have here? So yeah, it's kind of not, I've always played it safe in terms of the things that I wanted in life, and I feel like it's worked out. I'm not a risk taker. I am in some ways, but not to the point where I would risk everything for something that I don't know I could get.
Growing up, you were in school, you had your mom, and you started working very young.
Yeah.
When you first got, do you remember when you got your first paychecks? And was that, you said earlier, you kind of, a lot of your money went towards your family, supporting your family.
Happily gave it up because it's just two of us. So whatever that went to my mom went back to me because I'm the only child anyway, And I felt that what really made me today from the paychecks that I got, I remember it was 6,000 ringgit for the first movie I did when I was 9. And then I think the second one when I was 14, I had 30,000 ringgit for this TV series. It was for months. So technically I was making about 4,000 or 5,000 a month. So yeah, I remember those, but money wasn't really the center of my life. It was working so that the money was managed by my mom.
Right.
And some may call it oh, your mom probably abused you for the money, but I feel like it was just the two of us. It was not a big deal for me. My mom didn't procreate 6 other children.
You were in it together.
We were in it together,
yeah.
And she built my career, and I kind of was able to go forward because my mom had this very good networking skill, and she was good in PR, and she was good with talking to the media and getting me jobs. So she was doing what a manager should do. And I thought, fair,
Yeah.
You gave me this career. So I don't know what I would do without her, because another manager wouldn't be as invested, I suppose. So if it didn't work out for me, then maybe it's the next person or so. So I'm definitely, my success in my teen years was because my mom was just so invested in making sure that we would make it together. So yeah.
So money was not the ends. It was just a means to being able to take care of each other.
Yeah.
Do you start thinking about, okay, I'm young, I'm earning money, it should pay for us, obviously, to pay for things so we can live a good life. Did you have conversations with your mom about, now that we have a bit of money here, save it for your education, invest it, spend it? Was that something you thought about? Or was it I know in the industry we're all about, it's very glam and we love spending it in the latest handbag and you need to look a certain way, how you look is so important.
Yeah.
And we often spend it before we know it. I know I was one of those bad, I was oh, I need the shoes, oh, I need those bags.
Yeah.
And then years go by and you're in your early 20s and you're like, oh no, where did all my money go?
No, I wasn't really into bags or shoes or makeup or anything like that. I spent it all on food. and just going out with my friends and paying for experiences and going on little holiday trips and stuff. So I'm not really a collector of things. Yeah,
that's
I'm
good.
not.
Oh, you're ahead of your time.
I'm a minimalist by nature. But because we didn't really make a lot, especially in the first 10 years of being in the industry. I wouldn't say I make peanuts, but because we're freelancing, certain months we don't make a lot, so you kind of have to, on average, you can sort of understand that there are fluctuations and there are bills to pay. I was putting myself in school, so I paid for my school and I paid for nearly everything. I wouldn't say I did, because my mom didn't take her manager's fees. It was just us forking it out together and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were talks about investments and savings and all, but that was just so little to go by for two of us anyway, living in this city and stuff like that. So yeah, I only started really talking about money when I was fully able to manage my own money. And my mom retired, and then I had my 2 kids. So then I was my mom.
Did you have a mindset shift?
Yeah, definitely. Especially when my kids are born, and okay, what do I do with these 2 kids? They need a future. And, you know, back then it was just like, yeah, pay for this, pay for that, and whatever. Like, have savings, don't have savings. It wasn't even that important to me. Yeah. So now that with my kids, then it's definitely a different way of looking at money and yeah. But of course, I'm still spending too much of it. Yeah.
We're all spending a bit too much. But I want to do this card game with you now. It's quite a bit of fun. I've been testing it out on a few friends, and it basically helps determine. Me. Yeah. So it basically helps determine your financial personality. And so what I think about this is that often the finances is such a taboo topic, right? We don't have healthy conversations about money. Yeah. If anything, we see our parents fight over money. Yeah. It is one of the biggest reasons for like divorce in a lot of cases. Yeah. We see the stresses that lack of finances bring to a situation, or we see people fight over money, right? If you have too much of it and you know someone passes away, you see that chaos happen, right? Yeah. But having really positive, healthy conversations with our kids about why money matters, why it's important, what sort of relationship you have with it, what you should do with it, how do you earn it, how do you invest it. Like, we never have this. And then it becomes so daunting. So only in my later 30s, I was like, maybe I should speak to like a financial planner. Maybe I should like start taking a bit more control over my life.
And there's still a maybe. Maybe.
Because it's so, you feel part of you feels stupid. And then
I think also with money, there's a dopamine fix attached to it, that it's so hard to break away from your like impulses, is what I feel about money that always F's you up. It's the dopamine that comes with money that money can bring, and it's so like the illusion of not ever, you know, losing it.
And with social media nowadays, every single day you're being bombarded with millions of images and videos of people living the life. But
it's easier to make money now than ever.
It is.
You know, so if you really, really think about it, it balances out the fact that, okay, there's so many things that is being bombarded onto your psyche and stuff. But at the same time, people can afford things even in their teens now that we wouldn't have even dreamed of.
We've got 3 categories. You've got your that's me, that's not me, and sometimes it depends. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this chunk of cards here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read out like statements, and don't think too hard about it. So this really reflects where you are today. So it's not defining who you are as a person or anything. It just says, you know, Diana, where you are today at this point in your life, and how you typically, you know, your relationship with money and how you spend it. So when I read it out, you just tell me that's me. So we really want to focus on the that's me category, and then the rest sometimes, or no, it's not me. And then after that, we'll move on to the next round. So the first one is, I like giving to others more than receiving gifts or help.
Oh, that's me.
Okay. I help others even when they do not ask. I give them money or buy them things. Sometimes. Okay. Can't be too generous.
Yeah, I've actually pulled back. That's why.
Because that can also be a problem, right?
Because I would have friends who were not really good for me.
Yeah. I think that when people have a lot of money, it corrupts them.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I will hide the fact that I'm having money problems. Even if I can't afford it, I will spend money to keep up an image. Ooh, that's something that our industry is.
No, that's not me.
That's not you. Okay.
I can wear the same things for 50 years.
That's good to know. I research high-priced things. That way I can compare quality and price. Example, car, house, phone, jewelry.
Yeah, definitely compare.
When I get money, I like to give some of it to others.
Why? I mean, charity.
I like the honesty.
Like, charity is fine, but giving it for the sake of giving, no.
No. That's actually an enabling things. I spend on others, but I don't spend money on myself.
Oh my God, yeah.
I feel I should pay the bill when I eat out with others.
Yes.
Very generous.
They bring me joy. I mean, food is the only thing that I'm very generous with.
I would feel strange to have more money or nicer things than my friends or family. Do you feel strange?
Do I feel strange? No, I work very hard for it.
Yeah, that's good. Things happen that I didn't plan on, like a car breaks down or I get sick. I have extra money for those types of things, or I know how I can get money right away if I need it.
Yes.
I only buy what I plan to buy. I will not get extra items or extra features. Sometimes. Okay. I think things will work out, so I don't worry about money.
Yeah. Very optimistic. Money comes to me. Money comes to me.
Manifest. I have a plan for how I spend and save my money. Ooh.
The plan doesn't always work out.
Sometimes. It seems most people I know are better off than I am.
Not in my circle.
Okay. I will pay more for a brand name that others will recognize. Brand conscious? No. If I'm upset, I buy something, or if I want to avoid something, I buy something, or if I feel great, I buy something.
No, I eat.
Okay. When I need money, I just ask my friends or family for help.
No.
I have to pay late fees because I do not pay my bills on time.
Sometimes.
Win a fortune, inherit a lot of money. Sounds good, but I would not want to be responsible for it.
For your fortune?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Okay. So that's not you.
Yeah, you should be responsible for the things
exactly.
you receive.
Sometimes I regret the way I've spent my money or the risks I've taken. Yes. I give money or buy things I don't need when someone asks me
It
for
depends
support.
on who that someone is. They need to have leverage with me, you know.
Okay.
So
So
a good
sometimes?
leverage sometimes. Yeah.
I have lots of things I bought but never use.
No.
I keep track of my money. I know how much I have, how much is coming in, how much is going out.
My manager behind the camera just went, bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's me. She goes, I do that. Yeah, so without her, literally I'd be homeless by now with my kids. Living in a tent.
Not me.
Absolutely not me.
Ask for a raise, ask for a better deal. Not me. I don't like to negotiate or bargain.
I don't, but I put people who will negotiate for me.
Okay, so I think that's you.
Yes, that's me.
Because you plan for
I
it.
know I'm not good at it, but
Yeah.
I will put people who will, fight for my best interest.
I like to keep my options open. I do not want to be tied to a plan.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a free bird.
I know a lot about our finances. This may be insurance, health, home, car, savings, or investments.
I do know about it. I don't follow up. Looking at my manager.
I save or invest a set amount of money each month.
I used to. Sometimes.
If I get money by surprise, it's extra. I can spend it any way I want. Yes?
Yes. I mean, it's a blessing.
I think most people can manage money better than I can.
Except my husband. We're both in it together.
Oh my God. Even if I can afford things that will make my life easier, I will not buy them.
Yeah.
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 I have money secrets about how much I spend or how much I owe, how much I lose or give away.
Yes.
Let me tell no one how much I lost.
The thing is, I have secrets because I don't even want to say it to myself.
Denial. It's the first thing to get over.
Yeah.
I change my plans to do what others want me to do.
No.
I'd like to get separate bills when I eat out with others. I only want to pay my fair share.
Never.
No.
I think that's not very nice.
Yeah. It's not the Malaysian way.
Yeah.
I wonder where my money went. It just seems to disappear. Yes.
Absolutely.
I hate to wait for things. If I want something and I don't have money, I will get cash from the ATM, use a credit card, or get a quick loan.
I don't have a credit card because I know I'm terrible. Yeah.
I owe money after the holidays because I spent a lot on gifts.
I don't buy gifts for people.
Oh, wow. Like, is that just so you show your love in different ways?
Yeah.
I'll buy you lunch, dinner.
I don't do the seasonal gifts buying because I feel that you're just contributing to consumerism.
Yeah.
It's a thing that people use to to up the economy and all. It has nothing to do with being generous. I feel like generosity can come at any time. And if it's their birthday, whatever, I can spend. But it's not like a whole bunch of things to prove that you're important to me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like to give gifts that come from a special store, have a brand name, or look expensive.
No.
No.
Special store, I thought like something unique.
Yeah.
But not
meaningful,
as specific. Yeah,
but
meaningful, or something that is handmade, something you know, it's kind of weird, it's eccentric,
Yeah.
sort of thing, but not
like just for the sake
specifically
of a brand.
branded.
Yeah. I give up things I want so I can help others. Sometimes.
Let's keep it a secret.
Okay. I stop and think about my choices before I spend my money.
I stop and think about, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I go to a store and I look at things, and then I'm so adamant, I'll buy this, and then something in me is like, I'm tired, let's just go home and think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have that ability to take a step back, think about
Because
if I
I'm
really
not a
want
hoarder, remember?
Okay.
So I don't hoard anything, and I'm quite minimalist. I'm quite a minimalist. So I have to think about whether I really like it. Will I use it again, or is it something that I just buy because I want to buy?
Okay.
Because I know I'll throw it out.
All right, we're coming to our last few cards. Once I have a plan, I stick to it.
Well, sometimes. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I don't stick to a plan at all,
Yeah.
you know. But
Clearly you have gotten you to where you are in life.
Saying, yeah.
I buy things because they meet my needs. I do not care if they are the newest, the best, or have a brand.
That's what it is.
I like being up to date. That might mean I have things like stylish clothes, the latest phone, a new car, or new
I'm only up
gadgets.
to date with gossip.
When someone does something nice for me, I feel I owe him or her.
Yeah, that's why I don't like favors.
I think people will only like me if I'm generous.
Ew, no.
Yeah, who wants friends like that?
No.
When I go shopping, I have to buy something.
No.
I think about what is the best for the situation. That might be when I choose my clothes, buy a gift, or plan an event.
Yeah.
I rarely buy things unless I can pay for them right away.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to say yes to unexpected chances that sound good to me. It might be a bargain, a new job, a good time.
Depends also on the practicality of things. Yeah.
I have fun money to spend any way I want. It may be to treat myself, take a risk, or give it away.
There's always fun money. It's always,
She's like, yeah.
The fun money is important.
I will buy things that cost less instead of getting what I really want.
Yeah, always.
All right, so we're gonna put these aside. We're gonna take the that's me category, right? So now we're gonna flip them over, and each card had like a different category. So I think you've got.
I'm not very giving. Let's start there.
So 1, 2, 3. So you've got planning. You've got a few giving, a few status. So we'll put them here. Carefree. Yeah, a few carefree. Security. Yeah, security.
Yeah.
Spontaneous 4. So
Yeah, that's basically what I am. That's
so
spot on.
does that make sense to you?
It's very true. I always think about security, and at the same time, I have this flip where I'm just security. Let's go carefree. And then at the same time, also after being carefree, I'm like, wait a minute, you have to plan. So it's the guilt after carefree that I plan, and then I go back to, it's like a little loop of security, carefree, plan, security, carefree. It's the Illuminati of money. This is my Illuminati of money.
So you're dominant planning. So this means that you're, generally quite responsible,
Yes,
accomplished,
I am.
driven,
Yes.
conservative about how you make decisions, and you're
True.
quite intentional with decisions you make.
Yeah.
Carefree is, so your carefree and security were like on par. Carefree is kind of easygoing, like you said, right? So a little bit the random, irresponsible, immature, kind of like impromptu, I'm just going to do this, or, live in the moment type
Because
behavior.
I feel like I'm always so responsible that being carefree kind of allows me to remember, like, it's not all about paying your bills and being responsible.
Yeah.
Like, think about the things that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't even buy myself I don't even buy good underwear for myself. I will go on carefree shit, and underwear, I don't have money for underwear.
And your security is you have a budget, financial goals. You're a bit wise in terms of how you spend your money. You think about the future, delayed gratification, things like that.
Yeah.
But so this kind of makes sense. Does it like open your eyes into what you need to, maybe if you're a bit off balance, or where you need to kind of shift things? when you look at the giving, spontaneous
I think
status?
I'm giving in ways that are just, I give to charity, I give to people. I'm intentional with who I give it to, because I just feel like I worked for my money as well, and nobody helped me out for when I was in my hardest times.
Yeah.
So it's not that you have to earn the things that I give, but it's more like, I don't want to have a relationship
Handouts.
where people expect me to, I've been in that position so many times, so I think I'm a bit more uptight about people asking me for things. Like, get it yourself. What do you call that? No, nothing for status. I feel that my mom never taught me anything about brands and like and stuff. So she was very simple. Also, like she was such a rock and roller and wear the simplest stuff, and we were very simple in our like the way we lived. And my friends are also that way, so I never had to keep up with the Jonases, because my friends were not Jonases in the first place. They were very chill as well. We could sit at the beach for like 10 hours and like drink water.
I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, they say you are who your friends are. Do you think there's a lot to be said about, especially in an industry like we're in, where you're meeting all kinds of people from all walks of life? There's a lot of possibility for influence, the different kinds of influence. Do you feel that you've had, like, and maybe you say you were blessed from the time you were young, you've always had that very close-knit group of like down-to-earth, grounded friends
who are not in this industry.
So was that a very conscious decision after a certain point to make sure you surrounded yourself with?
I have friends in this industry, but I just can't relate as much. So it's nothing, I can't help myself. I will have this sort of like, you're a good friend, no, but I don't know, I can't go too deep. I detach myself. And I'm really bad with relationships anyway. I'm an only child. I suppose like I'm always just very happy with myself. So You don't need people around you constantly all the time. And all my friends who are from high school are actually not even in Malaysia. So I look forward to them coming back from wherever they are now and all over the world. And I never miss a chance to see them and catch up. And that's where I really feel connected with the people, that they're always there when I need them. It's not an everyday thing. So and my life is just basically my kids and my husband.
And I mean, I'm curious because I wonder if other people really understand what it's like being in industries like ours. And we were talking a little bit about this earlier. You know, you've never had a 9-to-5 job. I've never had a 9-to-5 job. Like, we don't know what it's like to sit in an office and be stuck there and have 20 days of leave a year. And I think I would go mad. You were like, I'd have a party every day after work.
No, not even after work.
During the office hours.
Yeah, you take me with a party.
But has that shaped like all these years later in terms of, because you need to be driven, you need to wake up, and that, you know, when you talk about planning and security, right? You need to choose to wake up in the morning, you need to have a plan with your life, you need to go, I want to be, I mean, you've been in so many hit movies over the years, you know, award-winning actress, you're a singer, you host, you kind of have multi-talented skills, a skill set, and you've got to really drive that career. And if you don't get out of bed in the morning, there's no money coming in. Was that a very clear goal? Was that something you need to be very driven about? And it's quite unusual because you are in the driving seat in your career.
I like that there's a lot of like being spontaneous and not knowing what tomorrow comes and stuff. I think it allows me to see the impossible as well, because being in a structured place, you're like that experimental rat who they will only give you open certain doors and windows, and you only know that you can go through a certain path. But when you're in this industry, you never know where you're going to land. But of course, you have to be steadfast, and you have to know where you're going and what you are and stuff like that. But even then, you really don't know where it's going to be heading anyway. So I like that. I feel that it fuels me, and I think because of that ADHD thing that I have, that actually makes me thrive more than in an environment that's too safe and too comfortable. So I think, to each their own, whatever works for them. To me, this is my 9-to-5, and actually within this chaos, I've actually set a system where I work Monday to Friday. So you've created structure? Yeah, I've created structure in an unstructured world, and I feel that is the most valuable thing that I had done for myself. It helped me from, burnouts and frustrations and, overreaching things that, I should step back from. And also weekends are important for my family, for myself, and, and when you work the whole day, you need to have a cutoff time. So my cutoff time is 5. If you ask my staff, I work after 5. I'm a little bimbo head, like, what's happening after 5? And they have to motivate me, like, Diana. And I'm like, I think because I'm just not, I feel like 5 o'clock is my...
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Or, if I work at night, then I'll tell them to come at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock because we're going to work till nighttime. So there's a structure that allows your brain to work the most optimum, and for you to also know when to start and when to stop, even in this unstructured environment. So planning, that actually is part of it.
That is planning. You have to create your own system, right, and structure. If not, you need some order and chaos.
Because being a freelancer, I think you're waiting for other people to give you the opportunities. But what about the things that you want to achieve? Also, comes from, even if today I don't have work, but I know it's a Friday. Maybe I don't have appointments, I don't have to see anybody, I don't have to shoot, but what do I do from 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Do I just sit around?
Here and
No, so that's the time when you plan, you focus on the things you want to do, you focus on the things you have achieved or the things you haven't done. So those are the things that allows you to kind of be that entrepreneur that you should be as a freelancer.
You need to have an entrepreneurial spirit to be successful.
Exactly. And remember you were saying downstairs, we were having a talk before, you said people who work in a structured corporate environment, they jump into the, entrepreneur hat, they wear it, and then they just don't know where to start, what to do and stuff, because they're not used to this kind of what do I do with myself attitude, where if people don't give you tasks and and stuff, it's hard because you don't know when your next paycheck is going to come and how much and stuff. But we're literally little entrepreneurs.
Isn't that so unnerving to not know, like, you can earn a chunk of money in January and then February, March is dead. It's quiet. How do you plan? Like, how do you and your hubby, how do you guys plan, especially now that you have 2 kids, you've got to think of their education and college and holidays, and how do you plan for that, knowing your income is inconsistent, but also knowing that you have power to drive that growth, like your jobs?
Yeah, there's definitely an ecosystem. It's not completely in the blind where you don't know what you're doing and where the money is coming. You have a set of clients already, you have a set of skills, and you know that you're known enough in the industry that people are going to gravitate towards and pick you amongst all these other people. So it's just staying relevant and doing things that keep people entertained, to keep your name in the loop and stuff. So there is a strategy to it. It's not completely just kind of like leaving it up to fate. And there is an ecosystem going on, and there's agencies that you work closely with. There are clients that you have, I've worked with clients for nearly 10 years and the same people and the same productions, and the people Mook here and you and everybody here might have people like clients looking for someone. You have a good relationship with the people, they think about you and they pitch your name. So about this industry is all about networking and sometimes you help someone out and in return they have a client that is looking for someone and say, hey, this person is easy to work with, why don't we pitch her name and stuff. So it's all about networking and
putting yourself out there and putting yourself out there,
your good name and stuff.
Do you feel you've picked up different talents and skills along the way, and was it just by the way, or was it intentional? And do you feel that you need to, like, I don't know, maybe in Malaysia you can't just can you just be an actress, or do you feel that you need to do other things?
Yeah, and you can't be an indie actress as well. With the lifestyle that I want, no, I can't just be just like an indie actress who's not in the mainstream. I feel I'm in the mainstream so that I could give a good, life for myself, because that's where the money is. There are a lot of things when I was younger that was by the way, and oops, I didn't know, I could learn that. But as you grow older, you realize that certain things are happening and there are takeaways from it. And you can learn from these things, and you become a bit more kind of optimistic about issues and problems and complexities that you face. So
And what makes you grateful now, or we were talking about grateful, and especially in an industry when you need to keep, I need to win that next award, I need to be a top actress, or oh my gosh, she's got 5 million Instagram followers more than me, or, you know, there's always some comparison, there's always the next best thing you want to achieve. And does it ever stop? Do you ever reach a point where you've hit like, this is the pinnacle, this is where I've wanted to get, and I'm done now, I'm happy, I'm content? Or do you get caught up in this rat race of like, it's never enough and I need more? And I guess what does success, like, have you tried to define success for you? Is there an element of financial in there? Like, I need to have X amount in the bank, or I need to, what does that feel like for you?
So in terms of being an actress, I feel like I've gotten more than I ever thought I could have, you know, so I've kind of reached beyond my own expectations. So that's where the gratefulness has come to play, because I feel like there was so many times where I could have failed and not become who I am today, but the universe was very kind enough to give me this blessing of being in this position, so I don't want to abuse it. So that's why, you know, I take care of my good name in that sense, where I want to be able to then use this opportunity to give a good future for my kids. So that's where then the financial thing comes to play, where I take whatever stuff that I get, and I only take good stuff only because I don't want to ruin the kind of foundation that I've built for myself by taking kind of just any offer and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're just building intentionally to become this refined actor after getting the popularity, you know. So after being popular, after being known and famous, then what? That's where a lot of people get lost.
Yeah.
So kind of refining yourself in that being a celebrity and being an actor, and also making sure that my kids will look at the career that I have and say, Mom, I'm proud of you. I think that is very, very important for me, to give them that sense of, if you want to be a creative, don't just be a foolish creative. You need to be intentional and be good at what you do. And, you know, when you're good, then I believe there will be a lot of blessings that come from that, and the financial thing will also follow as well, because when being a household name, also you have the responsibility of not being a fool, because you're also kind of going into all these young minds, and whatever you do actually matters. So
there is a responsibility.
That's a social responsibility there as well, what you say, what you do and stuff. So financially, yes, there is a target, but I've always lived in the uncertainty, where I know that whatever happens, if I work hard enough, I'm able to cover my needs. And I'm flexible, where if I can't live up to this lifestyle, I can always downgrade, and, you know, whatever works at that time. So life is that uncertain. I've seen so many people, you know, very rich, very prominent people, they drop and they have nothing. So you always have to be ready with, you know, not being too secure and sure about like, oh, this is always going to be this way. So I'm okay with that. There's a target, but at the same time, I feel that I want to enjoy my life, and I'm just not the type that really cares about how much I have in the bank. So
there's something to be said about being grateful. This is something I've personally struggled with, right? Because you can get caught up in the next thing to achieve, to do, to be part of, and it detracts from being able to enjoy the present and the now.
I think for me, I have a different view of always going for the next thing. It's because if I don't, I become depressed, because as a human being, if I don't grow and if I don't challenge myself, then it just becomes like this stagnant life, and that's not something that I want to do.
Right.
So moving forward is the things that gives me a sense of living. It's not really about going for the next big thing or trying to prove to anybody why I'm doing certain things, but it's just whatever that allows me to strengthen this passion of life that I have. Yeah. So it's and I think gratefulness is the anecdote, I suppose, for so many mental issues. Yeah. So it's like, because I used to be anxious, I used to be, you know, slightly depressed, but I wouldn't say I was in depression. I never was medicated for it, but everybody can fall into depression, right? Yeah. And so I think being able to realize, because I came from rock bottom. So what happens when you're from there, you have to remember where you were from to know that how good you have now. And there's nothing to complain, because I wasn't able to even afford a pack of rice, or nasi lemak, RM1 nasi lemak. Me and my mom for a bit of time were a bit homeless. We were living in family, like friends' homes, and my mom wasn't working for a good 2 years, and that's why I started acting seriously. So you realize, like, yeah, you may be all that now, but that's not something that...
Nothing is permanent.
Yeah, you didn't really enjoy that when you were growing up. You know, there were ups and downs and stuff. So that's why I don't really care about stuff, because I moved home, I think, there was a moment of 2 years where I moved 11 times.
Wow.
And I kept having to let things go.
Wow.
And just, you know, have a little bag where you're like, okay, who's home next?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
How old were you?
I was a teen. I was like 10 to 12. Yeah, 10 to 12. Yeah. My mom fell sick, and so, you know, she lost her business and stuff. So we really didn't have any money, and so I just realized, like, stuff is stuff, money is money, but we always had each other. So that's the mentality where I'm from. You know, it doesn't matter if, you know, we upsize, we downsize. That's life.
But that kind of has made you, I feel like, elastic. Like, you can.
Yeah.
You can do that, and you can do this, and you can do that, and it doesn't take away from who you are as a person, and how your outlook on the world, and your values, like your core sense of who I am, stays the same.
My kids didn't go through that, but I always give them that security, like, it's okay, it's fine, whatever happens, you know, it's fine, it's all going to be good. And, you know, you knowing that you take care of, you know, you basically develop young refugees. They've come from, basically they left everything, they've come from nothing, and they're still very happy people. I can relate to that so much, even though I was never really in that position where I was, you know, I had to leave my country and all that stuff. But I mean, moving 11 times is no joke, right? So I can understand, like, and of course religiously as well, like, if you look at Prophet Muhammad, this is, you know, something that for a Muslim, I feel it's very important for me to reflect, because he is the most powerful person in the world that had ever walked on earth. And this was something that was, I think, Time magazine
wrote about it.
Yeah, I wrote about it. Wrote about it. You're rubbing on. Your British.
Sorry, my British is rubbing off for American.
Bottom. So, but he never had a castle. He never had, you know, he never had savings. He lived in a very simple,
almost nomadic in a way, moved around.
He was nomadic.
Yeah.
He was nomadic. And he never had anything to give away to his family and stuff, because he believed that God has sovereign over all his all his creatures, and no matter how much money you can give your kids, it may not even reach them, you know.
And I like the idea of, like, you're a vessel, you know. It's even when you are however you define successful in terms of monetary, you're a vessel to be able to then share and to give in a smart way, of course, right? With others, and that's a very special gift.
So that's one of the things that was a takeaway. I was actually researching about his Prophet Muhammad's life for, I think, a good 6 months, trying to detach myself away from all of these things that are consuming you as someone living in this modern world where more. Everybody wants to become a billionaire. You know, everybody wants to accumulate. And I'm going against that, because I feel like it's such a distraction for more. And, you know, that's where I feel people are depressed, because when they can't reach that certain expectation that society has for you, it hurts when it shouldn't really.
But I love the point, and you've brought this up a few times now. You keep talking about things being very intentional, intentional with your own plans, intentional with your interaction with others in the world.
There's a thing there that whenever people talk to me about success, I will always ask, how big? Or, like, if they talk to me about, I want to be rich, like, how rich is rich enough for you? How big is big enough for you? Because if you don't control your urges or like your hopes and dreams, it could literally, you know, like a business that keeps expanding but not really knowing when to stop, and then
You implode. Or you
yes,
you reach a point of
exactly. You reach a point where you just everything just falls, and so I feel like I'm rich enough, and I feel like I'm famous enough that I don't feel like I need to expand anymore, and I should just manage whatever I have nicely and leave a good legacy for my kids. So
what is that? What is that legacy? I mean, we read about often when, like, the fact that so many of us may not have had that, maybe what we feel to be an adequate financial understanding growing up. And, something I think about is, I don't have kids, so with the many children at my school, we think about
legacy.
What do we teach our children, right? And what do we teach that next generation? And I always think of, and this is something I've read on many sites, it's to save, it's to spend, it's to invest, and it's to give, right? And if you teach someone these generally 4 things, and no matter how much or money they have, that's sort of irrelevant, but to save, to spend, to invest, and to give. And if this is kind of indoctrinated in them from a very young age, it just becomes how you live. It's like what you say, it's just part of who you are as a person, no matter what happens. What do you teach? Like,
I think the most important thing is for my kids is to imagine. So that's something that you have to teach your kids, because not a lot of people know how to imagine.
That's so true.
How to dream, because there's no such thing as, I feel that the things that I have today are part of the things that I imagined for myself. And another thing is definitely financial literacy. I'm definitely more invested in making sure that my son, I don't know why, but more than my daughter, needs to know how to be good with money and to save and to plan, because he's going to be the head of the family. I feel like my daughter has a way out. Because my daughter is so similar to me. There was a time where we were talking to each other, and I gave her, I think, a few $100 because she worked for it. She was selling lip balm. Oh yeah, and being business-minded is important for my kids.
So true.
So my kids have to work by the age of 12, whether they like it or not, because the transaction thing is very important.
Oh yeah.
Being able to know where to get money, how to get money, and how to handle people and manage your business is one of the most important things. So then they will get the skill of spending, earning, investing, those things come from actually being put in that, business environment. And they have to work for me. So my kid was sitting with me, and I was paying her due. And she was next to her brother, and her brother's like, you have to save. And she's like, what's the point? There's no such thing. You just spend it all. And I was like, way to go. I think it comes because she's at that age where she's enjoying it. So let her enjoy it. There will be a time when she'll be more aware, because for women it's a lot more expensive to be women. She will understand that it's not going to be easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So her time will come.
Like, do you know how much a lipstick costs?
Exactly. Yeah.
But one thing I think it's so important, and I do this as well with the school, is and actually generally people, I speak to a lot of friends, and they get so worried about their kids, especially today's world with social media and so much around you, right? And I always think, like, it may be easier said than done, but the teaching, even for us, understanding the value of things and the value of money. Like, how much does it cost to earn this 1 ringgit?
Yeah.
Like, how much work and effort do I have to put in to be able to someone to give me this?
Exactly.
And it doesn't come easy. And whether you're the char kway teow guy selling, you at your garai on the street for like 10 hours, whether you work in an office, whether whoever you are, every dollar, if you get it the right way, comes from effort and work. And I think a lot of kids grow up today perhaps not understanding that this has value, this bag or this car or this whatever comes from...
Put them in that position where they will understand. I think a lot of us give too soon and give too much.
Yeah.
So you have to put them in the position where they realize, oh, this is a lot of work. I bring my kids to work, because then they realize that it's so tiring to be able to to be at work and to actually give you the things that you take for granted. And then my son has now learned, so whenever he goes into a store and I'm willing to give him whatever that he wants, right? Like, okay, you like this one? He goes, $300. And then he looks around, he's like, but that's $100, Ibu. I think we should have that. So it comes naturally when they see the toil. And when they're put in that position where they can feel the toil,
exactly.
then they can think twice about all their demands. So whenever I say no now, he doesn't question it. He does a little bit. He goes, so how long do I wait for it? Yeah.
So we've been asking all of our guests to bring like a little something. That means something to them. So you decided to bring this.
I had nothing else because I don't keep anything, Deborah.
Oh yeah, so this is coming from the person who's you were Marie Kondo before she even was a thing.
Yeah, I was. My mom was a hoarder.
She was.
We were living in a small apartment. I think it was like slightly bigger than this hotel room. There were 2 rooms, so just add another room here. And she had boxes and boxes of things from the 80s. Like, why?
Wow.
And I would always question why people are always holding on to things, thinking that they could almost relive the moment. It doesn't work that way. It's in the past, Keep it in a picture like Marie Kondo does. Like, take a picture, keep it somewhere. I so relate to that because I used to tell my mom this. Put it in a picture or something, and I would wear this one day, and I'm like, you would never wear it again, it's out of fashion. So I would go through all her boxes, and she hated me, but I'd throw everything out. And I do it to my husband as well. He hates me till this day. Nothing gets past me. It's like, what is that? Are you gonna wear it again? Okay, so whenever people ask me, Diana, can you bring me something from the past? I'm like, I don't have anything. But somehow, I was going out today, I was leaving my house, and literally I didn't want to bring anything else, so like, I don't keep it. So
it's all a memory.
Yeah, it's all there, and I remembered about this. It's from 2008, so I was 17. I was 17, and I had a picture. Is
this a sketch?
Yeah, I had a picture of my dad, my mom, and me. And sorry, I don't know why this is it, but I was 5 years old, and this was when my mom and dad were together. I think when I was 17, I realized that I had finally accepted that I will never ever get the perfect family, mom and dad together, because my dad left when I was like 5, and I was with my mom, and I grew up, I didn't really have a good relationship with my mom. She was my everything, but being the only child, a girl, you were always very like, you would talk back and and be that angry teenager, and so we had a tumultuous relationship. But this is I think the moment at 17 I was like semi-adult. I grew up not accepting the fact that my dad disappeared. I didn't know why, I didn't know how. So this was the year where I accepted being 17. You realize that that's the end of your childhood. Like, you will never be able to have your dad the way you want, because they will only really, really, I guess, impact you when you're a child. So this is kind of like me accepting that, okay, you know what, I will never get that kind of thing, but this was the happiest moment when I was 4 or 5 years old. I was so happy with my mom and dad, and I just wanted to kind of lock that in this picture where this was the moment where I had both of them, and this was the moment where I felt whole. From this year on, I was never the same person ever again, where I was like one person was gone. You know what I mean? So this was when I was 17. I just realized, no, he was just. When he was gone, he taught me a lot about life for not being there. You know what I mean?
His
Absence? Yeah, his absence taught me a lot more than I think his presence would have. So, and I'm here today because, because of that. So yeah, I accepted
that an outlook It's like you chose to have that outlook, because not everyone chooses that, right? It could have been a very different.
Yeah, I was so angry though growing up, so I was kind of tired to the negative outlook that I had wasn't serving me. So this served me, because 3 years after that I got married, and then I had my own kids. So that was the like that, I would say,
like a tipping point, like a
twilight zone sort of thing, you know.
And now as a mum, and obviously, you know, having grown more, you learn more experiences, a little bit more wisdom. Do you see it very differently when you look back? That the relationship and coming to terms, I guess. Yeah,
I definitely that's why I feel like 17 was a very important year for me, because I accepted that moving forward as an adult, I need to be okay with my past, however painful, however hard it was, knowing that I could have, would have, should have, whatever, it's done, you know. So moving forward, I became a better mom, because whenever something happens, I always look at my kids. I look at my kids and my husband, and I'm so thankful just for my husband being a dad. He's there, he's being a dad, he's present, he's, you know, contributing to my kids' childhood and to their you know, development. And we work very hard as a couple to give our best to our kids. And my husband is filling up the whole of my childhood, just being a good dad and being so present with the kids. It allowed me to see what I could have had with my dad, looking at the father-daughter relationship. Yeah. Then it allows to fill up the things that I didn't know how my dad would have acted with me, but my husband
can do that for your kids.
Kind of gave that, you know. Yeah.
It kind of goes back to then what I was saying earlier, right, with my mom saying, try to always give your family a little bit, if not a little bit more than what we gave you. And you're able to do that.
Yes.
That consciousness to be able to go, I've got 2 beautiful kids, I'm gonna, like, my husband and I are gonna be able to bless them and give them in more ways than one, right?
I got into my marriage thinking, I don't know how to become a wife, or, you know, if this marriage is even going to work out. And like 11 years later, we're still married, and I don't even know how we're here. But I'm so thankful, especially for my kids, and they're thankful because they know about my dad.
Yeah.
And we talk about it. We talk about it, and my mom, now my kids are questioning, why isn't your dad around? You know, he should be around. And I say, it's okay, I've accepted the fact. Yeah. It's never going to be that way. You can't fight fate. And they're like, no, it's not fair for you. And it's so cute.
That's really sweet.
It's very sweet of them to feel for you, you know. But at least they also know that, you know, in the future when they pick their future partner, that pick the right one. Pick the one who will stay, and you should stay as well. I mean, of course, if it benefits the both of you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
I get lost for words when I talk about like these things. It's not very easy for me to communicate it clearly.
I mean, I think it takes, honestly, and I thank you for bringing this today, because it takes a huge amount of strength. Like to be able to, but it's because so many people grow up and it comes down to whether you talk about finances or family, or coming from a family where your parents end up splitting up. They're hard things to talk about and to process, to come to terms with. And often when we become adults, I think sometimes it's not, if you don't deal with it or choose not to deal with it, or it's hard to deal with, it ends up, it's like a thing that spills onto, it melts and it spills onto others, that yuckiness. And absolutely. To choose to be mature, to choose to emotionally deal with something, to move on from it, and then to be conscious enough to then gift your kids with what you've said, like to that awareness, that conversations that you guys have. It's I think that's, like we said earlier, it's the biggest blessing beyond.
Yeah, I forgot to add that why this was so important was I decided to become an actress because I wanted my dad to look for me, to find me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
At the age of
like 9.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was like,
that
where's my
is so
dad?
sweet.
Where's my dad? So if I was known, if
He
all
would
of
see you.
Malaysia knows me, then he would know where I am. So he can come find me. So at 17, when I realized, like, I'm famous enough, Dad, but you're still not here. So then it's like, okay, I get the message now, but I accept that that's your decision, because I realized you can't force someone to be in your life because they're not going to serve
100%.
you in the right way,
100%.
So maybe it's good for the both of us that you didn't come back. So then that's how I got into this kind of state of, let me accept the good memories that we had. I had like a few, but at least I had a few, So looking at it with the glass half full is better than looking at it with, with broken and empty. So that's the kind of perspective that I had from 17 onwards. And I think it really did me,
We always say that you don't choose, you, as a child, you don't choose what happens to you.
True.
Stuff happens.
True.
And it is what it is. But as an adult, you can choose how you deal with it and how you heal from it.
Yeah, I think we have more resources now, especially.
Yeah. And I think that's the responsibility, right? That we need to take, especially for our kids.
And of course, like, I need to be more financially responsible. So thanks for the talk now, Deborah.
So hopefully my fabulous card game has taught you a thing or two about.
Oh yeah, not a thing or two.
Things to ponder about, think about, little tweaks and
Again,
shifts.
I said, I know these things.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
like, how do I get off the fix? And it's an addiction, really, you know?
Well, this was something I did, and I just being completely honest, like this year, coming very much like what we talked about, like, you have your income is very different. It's uncertain month to month. It really depends on how you chart your career and what you do.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that I actually went and spoke to a financial planner and said, hey, so how do I do this? How do I, knowing what I know about my income and whatnot and the sort of work I do, how do I manage my money better, and what can I do? Because it is like, it's very easy to kind of just put it in the back and not think about it.
Yeah.
How do I actually make smart choices and decisions with my current situation?
Right.
And it was like the best thing I've done this year to do that.
You have to give me his or her number because your legacy.
Oh my God!
Your
Come on,
legacy.
guys, plan your finances.
Yeah. So hook me up.
Yeah. But thank you for chatting today, and thank you for being so honest. And I think it's what we were talking about it with my team, and about wanting people to, like, I don't know, be conscious, be aware, think about their lives, take more ownership about how they spend their money, how they earn their money, and it's especially in today's world, like it's not something that you can do it when you're a kid, and for parents to talk about it with their kids, for teenagers, for young adults to, like, just be aware about it.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's not the be all, it's not the end all. It's a means to an end, perhaps, but knowing that is what makes the difference.
It's one of the most important aspects of life is to be able to manage your finances well, because it can affect family, it can affect education, it can affect your, you can get, if you're sick, you can get, good health care and stuff from the money that you have.
I think what I wanted to do with this is to sit and really have honest conversations, because finance, you can park it, I guess, in a category of like finance, and it gets all heavy and technical and scary, but actually it's a part of life. It's a part of decisions we make, our family, our future, our past, our present, our relationships.
People don't talk about emotional intelligence and finance, because I feel part of taking control of your finances is being emotionally more intelligent, because money relates to your emotions more than than anything. So being able to control your emotions and knowing your traumas and all the things, all the wants and needs that comes with what money can bring, will actually take care of the financial problems. I think also like gambling, people don't just gamble to gamble.
No, it comes from
and also emotional
forms of addiction.
Shopping, emotional eating. What do you need? You need money for all of those things. So I think it goes back down to the things that we're trying to run away from, or things that we're trying to
compensate, or these gaps or these holes that you're trying to fill.
And like me putting my kids in one of the most expensive international schools in Malaysia, it's an emotional thing, you know. You know what I mean? So again, like it has a lot to do with, again, your emotional intelligence that goes that links with your financial literacy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You were like your honesty and such
Always love
personal
talking
stories.
to
So thank you, and for this, it's so precious.
You're not bringing
thank
it
you.
back though.
Yes, I shall return this to you. I know it's a bit more precious to you.
It definitely is. Yeah, I didn't even hang it up, you know.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's just in my room, knowing that it's there. So probably I might just hang it up today. So.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.